Alright, we're gonna do something a little different in this video. So I'm gonna do a bookshelf tour real quick, and then I'm gonna tell you a little bit about a book system I'm currently doing. So I only have 2 bookshelves in this house. This is my husband's 3D printer. My house is a little chaotic, so we're gonna give it a go. So down here at the bottom of my bookshelf, I have my puzzles and my gardening books, and more puzzles and random doohickeys. Hi, Link. Link would like to say hi. And then up here is part of my TBR. These are mainly books that are in series or have more than one book, so I can move this, my piggy bank, and my husband's Star Wars figures. So this is a lot of my TBR. And then we move up, and then we have more miscellaneous stuff. This is my husband's D&D shapeshifter character that perished in their D&D campaign, and his pop figures. We found this at a Goodwill, which was pretty cool. I also found this at a Goodwill and put it together. This is my gaming books, so we have Dungeons & Dragons, Dark Souls, I have Five Nights at Freddy's, Legend of Zelda, all sorts of stuff. Then I have some of my big books. There's no rhyme or reason to this, to be honest. I have my Pacific West Coast birds, and then I have like my Hamilton. These are like our collector books, kind of. And then I have Where's Waldo? Because why wouldn't you? Up here is an important document for a car. And then this is books that my friends have loaned me. I have this one. And then I've been meaning to find a video to show this off, but I have this. And if you don't know about this book, I implore you to go look into it more because this is hilarious. I might do a full video about this book eventually, just because it's so funny and it's a big like punk culture scene kind of book. We're gonna move up. This is books I've read. So I've read all these books, and then as you can tell, my husband's Jurassic Park obsession continues to overtake my shelves. So this is part of a Lego I started building, and then it didn't fit in my Lego curio cabinet, so it just lives here now. This entire series I've read last year with a regular of mine on the bar top. He actually bought me book 1 and we book clubbed it for like the entire year and waited for the last 2 books in the series. It was really good. I was really disappointed in the ending, unfortunately. More of my husband's takeover. I have the Five Nights at Freddy's trilogy back here, and another little wooden flower. There's another wooden flower that normally sits over here, but is currently busted, so I gotta find a way to fix it. Anyways, and then we're gonna move up. Don't mind 3D printed Glep. My husband thinks he's a comedic genius. This is a little diorama I put little cats in. My husband's Star Wars figure. More sea glass and agates. This is from our 4-year anniversary that we just had. The entirety of the Gone series and the Insurgents, or Divergent trilogy. And then this is my family photo from medieval times from here, I'll show it to you guys because it's really fun. This is my family. This is my parents, my husband, and me. This is my family. I love them very much. So yeah, so this is the first bookshelf. And then up top I have my Lego insects, another one of my husband's pop figures, and my 2 snake plants. I will showcase my husband's cool Lego Star Wars diorama on top of our entertainment center for him, and then more Jurassic Park stuff. Don't worry. It's his favorite thing. Yeah. And then the Jurassic Park popcorn bucket's back there too. And then, yeah, he's put a bunch of baby ducks. I don't know what he's got going on in here. But that's his diorama. I figured I'd showcase it for him. And this is a little hungry guy who thinks it's dinner time, but he still has 20 minutes. Down here is my husband's records and his Alien and Predator figures, along with some of the amiibos. I believe these ones are the amiibos. And then we have more. We haven't dusted in a minute, so my bad. And then this is where Linky's little spots and their toy box. Bottom shelf is where our shoes go, because we don't really have a place for them, so they go there. So I lose access to that. This is my classic shelf and nonfiction. This is also the only place I can put my library books. So they go here, and then library books that are ready to go back to the library are up here, and more of my husband's Jurassic Park stuff, along with a Magic card deck that could be mine, could be his, I don't know. And then we move up, and this is another TBR shelf. These are my keys. This is some more 3D printed stuff my husband printed for me, and I haven't gotten around to painting. These are my husband's figures. They're very pretty. He was gonna get rid of them, and I was like, no, give them here. And then this is my Choco Cat. I love him. And then I have this really cool painting back here from someone I bought off of Etsy, which their handle might be back here. Maybe not, but super cute. I bought it off someone because support small businesses, kids. And then we move up, and you'll never believe it, but it's more Jurassic Park. And then this is my Dark Crystal guy. This is my series of unfortunate events, my Andrew Joseph White. This is a trilogy I ended up reading a while ago. I've read these 2 books. I have not read these 2 books. This is me and my mom at Disneyland in my vintage Winnie the Pooh frame I found. And then we're gonna move up again. And this is my Lego and my husband's Spider-Man Legos that... Where's Miles? I think Miles fell back. Oh no. This is my comic book shelf. And my husband's Jurassic Park thing. I know. I'm not surprised either. So these are all of my graphic novels. There's some kids' books on this side, and then it goes into comics, and then more graphic novels, and then this is my entire Maximum Ride series. I don't know if it's the whole series, actually. And then up here we have my husband's, I think it's called Horizons, like Big Elephant. It lights up. It's actually super sick. And then this is the rest of my husband's 6 Star Wars Legos I've bought him. And then I painted this shelf. I'm very proud of that shelf. So yeah, that's my house tour, bookshelf tour, and entertainment tour. My husband's got a lot of Star Wars and Jurassic Park stuff. Those are kind of his niches. Yeah, that's my bookshelf tour. Thanks for checking it out. So here's what I want to talk about next. As most of you know, if you've seen my TBR breakdown video, I had 70 books at the beginning of the year that were on my shelves that I hadn't read. I average about 50 books a year for physical novels, and I need to break down my physical TBR in my house because I have over a year's worth of reading on my average reading in my home, and that's unacceptable to me. I should not have more than a year at any point. For me personally, I have 2 bookshelves. 2 bookshelves. That's too many books. I've read about 6 books from my physical TBR off of my shelves. I've read 16 novels in total because I've been utilizing my local library and finding a lot of very good and interesting reads. A while ago I mentioned I'd do a breakdown about this, and today's the day because I need a short video to get out there. Also, we're going to be going down to once a week from now. The twice a week, I've caught up on the book stuff that I wanted to get out, and now I'm at a point where 2 times a week is just too much. I don't want to go to a point where I'm at once a month. I'd like to be dishing out content at once a week at the very, very least. This is a 3D printed book, and yes, it's got tape because the bottom doesn't hold very well. This is a piggy bank. Piggy bank! I haven't painted it yet. I do want to paint this. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to paint on it. So, this is my piggy bank book. This is what I put money into every time I finish a book. So, I have a breakdown. I wrote it down. We're not going to bother the backside of this. That doesn't matter yet. So, when I did my book breakdown, I have comics, manga, and graphic novels are $2 to $5 every time I finish one, and I put it in this little book. Piggy bank. It's whatever I've on hand, if it's a 5 or a 2 or whatever. For books under 300 pages, it's $10 every time I finish one, and for books over 300 pages, it's $20. So I did the math, because I opened up this piggy bank to see where I'm at. Also, I couldn't shove another 20 in this morning when I finished The Forest of Hands and Teeth, and I was struggling. I was like, all right, it's time to pop it open and readjust everything. So I have read 23 comics, graphic novels, or manga. I have 6 books I've read over 300 pages, and 11 books I've read under 300 pages. So in total, if I just account for comics, graphic novels, and manga as $2 instead of $5, or volume, so just $2, and everything else to the calculation, there should have been $276 in my book piggy bank, okay? What I counted out of this was $287, which is friggin' great. We're right on track for what I'm hoping for. So, Chris, what is the book piggy bank for? It's for when I get to the end of the year and I want to buy new books. I'm ready to get more books for my physical TBR. I have a fund, and whatever I have in here is going to be the budget for new books. There are stipulations to this, though. I've given myself set rules. I'm on a book buying ban, obviously, because I don't want to buy any more books because I don't have any more room on my shelves. You just saw my shelves. My stipulations are that I read 50 out of the 70 unread books on my current bookshelves. I have to hit that, or I will not be doing a book haul at the end of the year. It will roll over into the next year until I hit that goal. If not, move on to the following year, depending on how strict I want to be on it. I will be purchasing as much books secondhand when I do decide to do my book haul, whenever I hit this goal. I will be avoiding Amazon at all costs. I know a lot of people that do book hauls order a lot from Amazon because it's convenient, it gets to your house quickly. I do understand it. I have the resources and time to not go shop at Amazon for when I do my book haul. I have the energy, I have the time, I have a vehicle to get to my local bookshops around me and not around me, further away. I have the resources to wait for books to show up to my house secondhand through thrift books or through whatever third-party used site I come across. That's just a rule I would like to implement because I do have the time and I do have the resources and I'm not in a rush. So that's just kind of like my stipulations for my book fund. Now, do I want to go do a book haul? Of course I do. I love buying books. That's how I ended up in this situation in the first place. And I know that I'm not, like, sitting on 100 or 200 books that I haven't read. I don't want to get to that point. I wanted to catch myself. I hit 70 and I was like, that is absolutely unreasonable of me because I don't average 70 books in a year. I average about 50. So why do I have over a year's worth of books sitting on my physical TBR on my shelves? I didn't like it. So we've set the stipulations, I set the rules at the beginning of the year, and I have my budget. And my budget is, if I read a bunch, I'm gonna have a higher budget. And there's nothing wrong with that. This includes library books, so like a lot of this fund currently is library books, because like I said, I've only read 6 books off my actual physical TBR in my house, which is really bad odds so far, considering it's April. So, but it is what it is. This is the stipulations. If I don't meet them, I don't get to do it. And I will be holding firm on this, because I don't think I need to be going and purchasing books on a whim when I'm sad or in a reading slump, and I have a local library I can use to go get books or that I desperately want to read. I don't have to purchase everything. Looking at my shelves, I know, like, my entire Gone series is not all the same size. I know half of them are paperback and half of them are hardcover, and some of them are mass-produced, and some of them are like the originals, because I got all of them secondhand. I think only the first 3 I got brand new when I was like 16, and the rest of them I got off thrift books. I got the entire Divergent series from Goodwill just searching around. I got the entire hardcover version of the Series of Unfortunate Events through Goodwill, through various donation centers, thrift places, like the whole series I got that way because I spent the time searching for it because I wasn't in a rush. Have I bought brand new books? Of course I've bought brand new books. I bought all of Andrew Joseph White's books that are currently out, all of Travis Baldry's Legends and Lattes trilogy. I owned them. I owned them, and I bought them all brand new. I went to Barnes & Noble. There's Barnes & Noble near me. But also there's a book exchange near me. I go to them. I see what they have. I'm gonna go on thrift books. That's honestly my main one. I freaking love thrift books. Thrift books is my jam. But I have the means. I will have the budget eventually, and somebody needs to kick me in the tush so that I can start reading my physical TBR so that I can go do a fun book haul at the end of the year. So that's all I got, really. That's it. That's my thing. I just finished reading The Tusks of Extinction, and I rated that 5 stars. Oh my gosh. It was so good. I highly recommend it. Oh my gosh. And then I just finished The Forest of Hands and Teeth. I just rated that 2.5 stars. I'll actually be doing a rant review / breakdown of that book because I was so frustrated and then didn't realize it was a young adult horror. I thought it was just a horror book and was getting frustrated. I was like, why are these people not making adult decisions in this situation? Because they weren't adults. Also, I'm just really mad with the ending, and there's 2 more books, and I won't be reading them because they don't follow the same story as book 1. And book 1 left on a pretty heavy cliffhanger, in my opinion, and they don't solve it in book 2 or 3. So I won't be continuing the series. That book's actually going to be going away at the end of the year as well. It's coming off of my shelf since finishing it. But I did finish it, and that's 1 more down on my physical TBR. That's all I got. The backside of this is literally the breakdown for The Forest of Hands and Teeth. I'm trying to script my breakdowns now, because after doing the Hemlock and Silver book breakdown, I had a miserable time, and I definitely realized I needed a script. So, alright, that's all I got, kids. I still don't know how to end these, and I never will. See ya!